Okay, guys, we've got to talk about plagiarism. Over the years, I have seen people make the same mistakes. Now, I do have it written down, such as in your SLO requirements document. Literally, it's 6 pages about how to write a 5-paragraph essay. Seriously, come on, man. It's also in the syllabus. It's also on the checklist. The checklist is very detailed so that if you use that checklist, you will not fail. But let's just talk about plagiarism in general. There are different types of plagiarism, right? I have had, and I am not even joking, my first year teaching, 36 people in one semester. You know why? Because they had their significant other or their friend's paper from the semester before. And so I teach federal government and Texas government. So what they did was they took federal in the first semester and Texas in the second, and then their friend did, the opposite, and they just switched papers. Okay. Here's the thing. I am the only professor, for now, that teaches full-time on campus of our regular classes. Yeah, I teach dual credit too, but most other government professors don't teach just on campus. That means I have access to everybody's paper that has turned anything in the past however many years I've been teaching. So please don't do that. That's blatant. That's going to get you a 0. That's going to get you kicked out of class. And at a 4-year university, we can stamp academic dishonesty on it. It has not come to that with me so far, but don't push it. Anyway, another type of plagiarism is when you didn't mean to. It's that you didn't know how to put in text citations, or your references were not correct, or you had the wrong citation for whatever. Okay, here's the thing. Anytime you take an idea, a statistic, a direct quote, anything, it does not have to be a direct quote or a direct statistic. You're supposed to be interpreting this stuff, so it's always better to paraphrase, but always, always cite your source, okay? That means author's last name and the year of publishing, in parentheses, at the end of whatever it is that you took from someone else, okay? Since these are such short essays for my class, again, every essay has to be at least 5 paragraphs. If you do everything on the checklist, you write your 5 paragraphs, that's the bare minimum, you're going to get a B. If you're cool with that, great. If you want an A, you're going to need to do more. Critical thinking, etc. If you're looking for the rubric, it's on the SLO requirements document at the very back. It means you have to exceed expectations. However, for a 5-paragraph paper, do not use block quotations, okay? I don't use any of your quotations as your own work. So basically what happens is if I go through and I look at your essay, and you have a lot of quotations in there, I take them all out and I look to see what you actually wrote. So if you didn't write 5 pages or 5 paragraphs because you have 1 paragraph that's just a block quote, that doesn't count. Okay? With your references, for my particular class, you are not allowed to have .coms. And the reason for that is because .coms are commercials. Okay? They're paying you to think something. Back in the 90s, there were lots of things that told us that tobacco or smoking, chew, dip, whatever, doesn't cause cancer. Well, now we know that obviously is not true. Okay? So they're paying somebody to make you think something. So we don't use .coms. We don't use any sort of news unless it's like maybe C-SPAN. But it's because news, CNN, Fox News, whatever, they are slanted because they have shareholders. At the end of the day, all they are is a business. That's what they do. You can't fault them for that, right? And so they want to be outlandish. They want to be cray because that's going to get them likes. It's going to get them clicks, and therefore, it's going to be better for them. So that's why we don't use that. So, long story short, make sure you're not using those block quotations. Make sure that you are trying to paraphrase, but above all, whether you paraphrase or have a direct quote or a statistic, whatever, make sure that you have that citation there. Author's last name, year of publishing. If there is no author, then the title of the article, okay? Down in the references, make sure that every reference you have down there is in your paper. Oftentimes, I see people and they have all of these references but only 2 in-text citations. Whatever you have in your in-text citation is what should be on that reference and nothing more. And I do actually look at it, and I do actually go and look at your references to make sure that they're real. You'd be surprised at how many times people will cut and paste the URLs and they don't exist. So also, with references, cutting and pasting the URL is not enough. You need to go to the OWL at Purdue, which is in the SLO recommendations or requirements document, and it will tell you how to do all of that. All you have to do is say, oh, I want to do APA, oh, I've got, a book, or oh, I've got a website. It'll tell you how to do it, okay? So make sure you're doing that. Again, we use APA in government because we really focus on the dates and times that things happen, and things like English or philosophy or history. Those sorts of things don't change very quickly. Government does. Policy changes daily. I mean, a tweet from a president can change policy, and you need to know when and where that came from, and so that's why we use APA. So make sure you're using APA. Make sure you're doing those in-text citations. Make sure you're having the references match that, because otherwise you're going to get tagged for plagiarism, and ain't nobody got time for that.